Poverty does not begin in your pocket. Poverty begins in the mind. A poor life is often the result of poor habits repeated daily until they become a lifestyle. Many people pray for increase while practicing behaviors that destroy prosperity. They ask God for abundance, but violate the principles that attract it. Wealth is not only about money. It is about stewardship, discipline, wisdom, and dominion. Every day you are either moving toward abundance or reinforcing lack. The first thing that keeps people poor is waking up without purpose. Every day that begins without vision often ends without progress. When a person rises with no clear assignment, no target, and no intentional direction, they do not lead the day leads them. And when life is driven by a reaction instead of purpose, opportunities pass unnoticed. Purpose is not merely having goals written on paper. It is knowing why you exist and allowing that knowledge to govern your actions. A person with purpose does not wander into success by accident. They move toward it deliberately. Without purpose, energy is scattered. Time is spent, but little is built. Activity may exist, but productivity is absent. You can be busy and still be broke because movement is not the same as progress. Purpose organizes priorities, sharpens focus, and turns ordinary effort into meaningful results. It gives discipline a reason and hard work a destination. Prosperity often begins when a person wakes up with intention, asking, what must I build today? What value must I create today? What step moves me toward my destiny today? That mindset changes everything. Purpose creates productivity, productivity creates value, and value attracts prosperity. A life without purpose does not merely drift. It leaks opportunity, potential, and wealth. The second habit is neglecting diligence. Prosperity is not usually born in sudden moments, but through disciplined, repeated effort. Great lives are built in ordinary days of faithful work. Lazy thinking postpones progress. Delayed action kills opportunity, and careless effort produces weak results. Diligence means doing what must be done even when it is inconvenient. It means showing up, improving, and staying committed. The principle is simple. What you refuse to cultivate, you cannot expect to harvest. Heaven honors work because work activates potential. The ground does not reward wishful thinking. It yields only to those who labor, plant, and persist. Third is spending before thinking. Many people remain financially bound not because they lack income, but because they lack stewardship. Money without wisdom disappears quickly. When every blessing is immediately consumed, nothing is left to grow, invest, or multiply. Prosperity is not measured by how much you spend, but by how well you manage what you receive. Impulsive buying, emotional spending, and living beyond your means quietly sustain poverty. Wise people treat resources like seed, not just food. Some must be used, but some must be preserved for increase. If everything received is consumed today, there will be nothing planted to produce tomorrow. Fourth is refusing to learn. Ignorance carries a heavy cost, often greater than people realize. Many desire increase but resist the very knowledge that could unlock it. You cannot rise beyond the limits of your understanding. Prosperity often follows learning because knowledge reveals opportunities, solutions, and better decisions. Reading sharpens the mind, study expands perspective, and developing skill increases value. What you know affects what you earn. Growth is not optional for those who want abundance. Every day you refuse to learn, you may be delaying your progress. Education, wisdom, and personal development are not expenses. They are investments in prosperity. The fifth daily mistake is speaking negatively. Words are not empty sounds. They shape beliefs, expectations, and behavior. When a person constantly declares failure, lack, and defeat, they begin to live within those limits. Saying, "I'll never get ahead," or "nothing works for me," conditions the mind to expect struggle. Negative speech feeds a poverty mindset. What you repeatedly say, you often begin to believe. And what you believe influences what you pursue. Prosperity begins with thinking and speaking in alignment with possibility. Your mouth can release faith, vision, and increase, or it can keep reinforcing fear, limitation, and poverty. Six is living by fear instead of faith. Fear has a way of shrinking vision and trapping people in caution. It paralyzes investment, suppresses innovation, and prevents courageous decisions that often lead to growth. Many opportunities are missed not because they were absent, but because fear made people hesitate. Prosperity often requires stepping beyond comfort, taking wise risks, and believing greater things are possible. Fear keeps a person focused only on survival, never expansion. It protects from failure but often blocks success. Faith, however, sees possibility beyond uncertainty. Those who overcome fear position themselves to build, multiply, and prosper. The seventh habit is dishonoring time. Time is one of the greatest assets God gives, yet many treat it casually. Wasted hours eventually become wasted years. Every moment lost to distraction, gossip, procrastination, or meaningless activity quietly steals from future wealth. Prosperity often grows where time is managed with discipline and intention. Successful people understand that time is seed, and every day is an opportunity to plant something valuable. When time is mismanaged, opportunities are buried before they can produce fruit. You can recover lost money, but lost time does not return. Honor time, and you honor the possibilities attached to your future. Eighth is avoiding responsibility. Many remain stuck because they spend more energy assigning blame than creating solutions. They blame government, family, the economy, or past circumstances for every struggle, but blame has never built prosperity. Change begins when a person accepts ownership of their decisions, habits, and future. Responsibility is the doorway to empowerment, because what you take responsibility for, you can change. Prosperous people do not wait for perfect conditions. They respond wisely within present realities. Maturity says, my future is not determined by excuses but by choices. The moment you stop blaming and start building, you position yourself for increase and progress. The ninth habit is envying others instead of improving oneself. Jealousy is a silent thief that drains energy meant for growth and redirects it toward resentment. When people focus on what others have, they often neglect developing what has been placed in their own hands. Envy does not produce progress, it distracts from purpose. You cannot build abundance while resenting another person's blessing. Prosperity grows when admiration replaces jealousy and inspiration replaces comparison. Instead of questioning why someone else is advancing, ask how you can improve, learn, and grow. Your breakthrough is not found in comparing lives, but in cultivating your own potential faithfully. 10th is refusing to save or invest. Many people earn enough to grow, yet remain stagnant because they consume everything they receive. Prosperity is not only about earning more, but preserving seed for multiplication. A harvest always begins with something set aside and planted. When every resource is spent on present desires, nothing remains to produce future increase. Saving reflects wisdom, and investing reflects vision. Both require thinking beyond today. Wealth grows when resources are managed with a long-term perspective. If all you receive is consumed, tomorrow stays empty. What you preserve and plant today often becomes the abundance you live in later. 11th is staying surrounded by negative influences. Environment shapes expectation, and poor thinking can be contagious. If you constantly surround yourself with people who celebrate excuses, mock discipline, reject responsibility, and resist growth, that mindset can quietly become your own. Wrong associations can shrink vision and normalize limitation. You cannot consistently live above the level of the thoughts influencing you daily. Prosperity often grows in environments that challenge, sharpen, and inspire progress. Wise people protect their atmosphere because they understand company affects destiny. If those around you discourage growth, they may keep you small. Sometimes elevation begins by changing the voices you allow around your future. 12th is dishonesty in small things. Many underestimate how deeply integrity is connected to prosperity. Lasting wealth is not built merely on opportunity, but on character strong enough to sustain it. When people cut corners, break trust, or misuse resources, they weaken the foundation required for increase. Dishonesty may produce temporary gain, but it often destroys long-term favor. Faithfulness in small matters proves readiness for greater responsibility. Prosperity that lasts is often entrusted to those who can be trusted. Integrity protects reputation, opens doors, and builds credibility. If character is compromised in little things, greater opportunities may never remain in your hands. The 13th thing is neglecting generosity. Many are surprised to learn that selfishness can contribute to poverty because giving is often misunderstood as loss. But generosity is a principle of multiplication. What is released in wisdom often returns in increase. Giving expands the heart, breaks the grip of scarcity, and aligns a person with abundance thinking. Closed hands rarely receive more because they hold too tightly to what should be sown. Generous people understand that resources are not only for consumption but also for contribution. Prosperity often flows through those willing to bless others. Giving is not depletion, it is participation in multiplication. 14th is abandoning dreams because results seem slow. Many people quit in seasons where they should remain faithful. They mistake delay for failure and walk away just before breakthrough. But seeds do not grow the day they are planted. Growth often happens unseen before it appears. Prosperity requires patience as much as effort. Great things usually develop through persistence, not instant results. Those who keep building when progress seems slow often reap what others never stay long enough to receive. Persistence is a wealth principle because consistency produces outcomes over time. Do not abandon a vision simply because its harvest has not yet appeared. And the 15th daily habit that keeps many poor is ignoring God's principles while asking for God's blessings. Many desire abundance while neglecting the very laws that produce it. Prosperity is not magic, nor is it sustained by wishes alone. It responds to principles: discipline, stewardship, wisdom, diligence, faithfulness, and service. Blessings often flow where principles are honored. You cannot violate the laws of increase and expect lasting prosperity. Prayer has power, but principles give structure to that power. Wealth is often the fruit of obedience to timeless truths. When people align their daily habits with divine principles, they position themselves not just to receive, but to sustain abundance. Poverty is often not the result of one catastrophic decision, but of daily habits repeated without awareness. But the powerful truth is this: what habits created limitation can be replaced by habits that create abundance. Change your thinking, discipline your time, guard your words, honor integrity, embrace learning, and practice stewardship, and your future can begin to shift. Prosperity is not reserved for a few fortunate people. It is often the fruit of principles faithfully applied. God has not called you merely to survive, but to produce, multiply, and leave a legacy. The question is not whether your life can change, but whether you will change what you do every day. If this message challenged you, take action today. Identify one habit keeping you back and commit to breaking it now. And if this spoke to you, share it with someone who needs this breakthrough, and stay connected for more teachings that build faith, wisdom, and prosperity.